Well, hello, everyone. I am so pleased to be here with Savane Chandrasekhar from Mines Matter and Dan Haley with Colorado Oil and Gas Association. And I'm Sarah Reynolds, also with COGA, and it's just a real pleasure to talk to one of our grant recipients for this year and learn a little bit more about their programs and how they're supporting communities in Colorado. So Savane, what an exciting time for Mines Matter. You guys are taking your programs statewide now.
We sure are. We sure are. Yeah, we've been in Colorado now for about 17 years, mostly in the Denver metro region, and we've been able to be remarkably successful serving our students. So we connect driven and determined high school students from low-income backgrounds with the people, the preparation, and the possibilities they need to succeed in college, create their futures, and change the world. And that's just a big fancy way of saying we help really, really smart, driven, determined kids get into college. And these are kids from low-income families. And in Denver, we've served almost 200 kids over the course of the last 17 years. And 100% of them have gotten into college, and 100% of them have earned scholarships. So it's been really, really exciting for all the students that we've been able to serve. And the big focus for us has been, we've been so successful in the Denver metro community, and we've had 100% success rate, but there are students all across the state, corner to corner across the state, who don't have that level of access because they're not in Denver. And so if we are 100% successful with the students we do serve, but we're not serving other communities because we don't think we can go serve rural communities or folks in Colorado Springs or Fort Collins or Pueblo or Sterling or Mancos, then that's on us. That's not on the students, and we got to solve that problem. So we launched our vision that by 2030, by the end of the decade, we're going to provide access to Mines Matter to every student corner to corner across Colorado. And we expanded into Colorado Springs this year. We're into Aurora next fall, and then potentially Fort Collins the year after, Southwest Colorado, Durango, Mancos the year after. And then go from there.
Your materials often reference the importance of a strong educational pipeline. And the oil and gas industry obviously has a vested interest in developing and diversifying our workforce. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you're building that educational pipeline?
For sure. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Colorado paradox. There's a few different ways to think about it, but one of the key ways to think about it is Colorado is one of the 5 most educated states in the union. So we've got more folks here who have degrees after high school or credentials that allow them to be part of this incredible, productive economic workforce that we've got here in Colorado. The flip side of that is, the paradox is, we're one of the bottom 5 states in the country in terms of educating our 9th graders who start high school and getting them those degrees or those credentials after high school. So we've got a lot of folks who are educated, and we're really bad at getting the next generation to get those degrees. And that's going to affect every industry, but especially oil and gas, and an industry that's so powerful in this region, but requires at least high school educations, if not degrees far after that. And the other thing that we've seen a lot of is, as you might guess, predominantly those students who aren't getting that education after high school, a lot of them are coming from communities of color. And so as we think about a diverse workforce within Colorado, it's how are we getting those students from low-income communities? How are we getting those students of color who have all the skills and all the ability to be leading the next generation workforce? How do we get them access to the education that they need? And so that's what we do at Mines Matter Colorado, is we help those students get into college, get scholarships, and we're able to be 100% successful doing that. And those students go into every industry that you can imagine. They go into law, they go into medicine, yes, but they go into engineering. We have students who are going to School of Mines. We have 2 of them who got into School of Mines this year. And many of them that are going to be really, really productive members of society and hopefully part of the oil and gas industry for years to come.
So like a lot of nonprofits, I know you run with a pretty small team. You're very lean, very effective. Yeah. But you do rely on a lot of volunteer support to help bring your programs to life. So what are some of the ways that some of our members can help support your work?
Yeah, so you're exactly right, Sarah. We have 3 paid staff and we have over 220 volunteers. And so the people who actually make Minds Matter Colorado One are our volunteers. And there are multiple ways to get involved because everything that's not running the organization, fundraising, and setting up our programming is essentially done by volunteers. The most important way is mentoring. So we know, and we've seen this data over and over again in the research, and we've seen it in empirical experience. But the most powerful thing for our students to give them access into all the opportunities that they deserve is having someone who's done it before, right? And so many incredible professionals who have great expertise and experience in various industries offer a couple hours a week, 2 hours a week during pre-programmed sessions on Monday nights to work with our students. And it's set it and forget it, plug and play. You show up at 6, you leave at 8 o'clock. Everything's designed for you. And you're working with the same students and building a deep relationship with them over the course of the 3 years. So mentoring is an incredible way, in a very structured, kind of simple time commitment. The time it takes you to bake a pizza and watch an episode of Game of Thrones, you can have a tremendous impact on a student's life. So that's probably the most important way for us to have volunteers who want to get involved with our students is working with them directly as mentors. Besides that, everything else that we do in this organization is run by volunteers, from finance to marketing to leading the programming on Monday nights, to helping us throw fundraising events, to being on our board of directors and our board of trustees to help us start figuring out what is our strategic plan to go statewide. We know the oil and gas industry is across this state and not just in the urban areas, right? And so there are lots of opportunities for the expertise and the members of the Oil and Gas Association to help us think about how are we serving some of those communities where your employees might be working. And the next generation in rural communities around the state. So multiple opportunities, happy to chat with anyone who's interested, but just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this group.
Well, and that's such a great point. It is a partnership for sure. And this is just the beginning of what we hope is going to be a long partnership between our industry and with Minds Matter, and building on, I think, a lot of the volunteerism that you already have from the industry that's supporting your work. And we'll just continue to grow from there, particularly as you expand to a statewide program. You're going to need a lot more volunteers with this broad vision that you have. So congratulations. And we just look forward to working with you this year and watching you just grow and see what the future holds.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Abhinay.